When it comes to movie monsters, Dracula is a major fan favorite. He's one of the classic Universal Studios monsters, among others including Frankenstein, the Mummy, and the Wolfman. Dracula is most often imagined as being a very pale, dark-haired, well-dressed, seductive individual with an air of mystery and danger about him. However, despite the typical image of the most famous vampire, each time he's portrayed in modern media is often different than the last. Some Draculas are certainly better than others and are much more successful at capturing the essence of the character. Here are 6 of the best Dracula films to date. 6. Hotel Transylvania, 2012. While Hotel Transylvania isn't your typical Dracula movie, it's a cute, fun take on the signature vampire and his monster friends. When monsters need to get away and take a break, they go to Count Dracula's, Adam Sandler, Hotel Transylvania, a human-free resort where monsters can relax and be themselves. Along with Sandler, Hotel Transylvania also features stars including Selena Gomez, Andy Samberg, Kevin James, Fran Drescher, CeeLo Green, David Spade, and Steve Buscemi. Hotel Transylvania's portrayal of Dracula shows him as a nervous, family-oriented business owner, a unique take when compared to any other Dracula media. While the movie is really geared toward kids, it's really not bad and is a good fun for the whole family option for movie night. Following its release in 2012, Hotel Transylvania spawned a 4-movie franchise, although the first 2 are the best. 5. The Monster Squad, 1987. Released in 1987, The Monster Squad is about a team of monsters, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, Gilman, and the Wolfman, led by Count Dracula, Duncan Reger, in a pursuit to take over the world. But their plans are halted when they have to battle against a group of outcast teens, dubbed the Monster Squad, who want to stop them from taking over. The Monster Squad is a blend of comedy and horror, and of all the vampire movies from the 80s, it's definitely one of the best. The Monster Squad has some elements of movies like The Goonies, but portrays itself in a fun and unique way that doesn't feel tired and fits perfectly among the backdrop of the 1980s. It's also a great movie for any monster lover as it combines all the classics on one screen, but manages to give a little bit of the spotlight to each character. Also, in terms of Dracula performances, Reger's is great and often underrated. He captures all the angles of the vampire's personality and presents them in a way that feels like a love letter to the classic horror monster. Unfortunately, The Monster Squad did bomb at the box office, but in the years since it's become a cult classic that's worth the watch for the 80s nostalgia if nothing else. 4. Nosferatu, 1922. This silent, black and white horror movie premiered in 1922 and 100 years later, is still known as one of the most influential vampire movies of all time. Nosferatu was an unauthorized, unofficial German-made adaptation of Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula. Though names and other details were changed to protect against copyright infringement, Stoker's heirs sued over the adaptation, resulting in an order that all copies of the film be destroyed. However, a few survived, and Nosferatu went on to become an influential masterpiece in the horror genre. Even though it's a silent film, Nosferatu still manages to be downright creepy. The eerie, gothic vibe, Count Orlok's, Max Schreck, terrifying look and gait, and the haunting music all combine to create a really chilling film that still manages to scare even all these years later. Nosferatu is an important piece of cinema history and whether it's necessary or not, has been the subject of remake conversations with Roger Eggers as director. However, it's unclear if and when the remake will become a reality. 3. Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992. This 1992 adaptation of Stoker's novel features a stellar ensemble cast including Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves, Anthony Hopkins, and Gary Oldman as Count Dracula, with Francis Ford Coppola in the director's chair. Bram Stoker's Dracula was a box office success and generally well received by critics for its sultry, gothic feel and unique take on such a well-known character. The movie also went on to win 3 Academy Awards for Best Costume Design, Sound Editing, and Makeup. Bram Stoker's Dracula had a significant impact on vampire media in pop culture. It reimagined Dracula's attire, general tone and demeanor, and explored new vampire tropes that hadn't been featured in movies yet, like retractable fangs. It also features more of the romance element that Dracula, or vampire media in general, would later focus on more. Oldman is great as Dracula. He's sinister, creepy and mysterious, and embodies everything people have come to love about the Dracula character over the years. 2. Dracula, 1958. Also called Horrors of Dracula, this adaptation sees Christopher Lee, Sleepy Hollow, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, as Count Dracula. Lee's portrayal of Dracula was widely different than Bela Lugosi's role in 1931. Lee featured a fanged creature with blood-red eyes in a plot with more blood and gore than the original, thus presenting a brand new image of the classic horror character. Lee's portrayal also saw Dracula as a more alluring character, seducing victims with ease. The 1958 Dracula has become a horror classic and is still well-loved among critics and fans of the genre to this day. This adaptation brought Dracula to life in Technicolor, as opposed to Lugosi's black and white classic, and it makes the snarling, feral images of Drac all the more scary. 1. Dracula, 1931. The 1931 Dracula by Universal Pictures is the first official, sound adaptation of Stoker's novel and features Bela Lugosi in the lead role as the Count. It was really the movie that started it all. It was a major commercial and critical success and led to a slew of spin-offs and new adaptations. Lugosi as Dracula can be credited with establishing the primary image of the character that most people recall today: well-dressed, poised, mysterious, and intriguing, yet dangerous. Dracula laid the foundation for Universal Pictures to become a leader in early horror films, housing all the heavy hitters like Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, and The Wolfman. For most, Lugosi's Dracula is the Dracula. His performance served as inspiration for future Draculas, like Lee and Oldman, achieving Lugosi a certain legend status in the realm of horror films.